Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Samira. What's up?
How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good, enjoying the heat.
Oh my God, it's the same way here. I'm in like an office building all day, so like whenever I get to go on like a lunch break, me and my coworker always go outside. It's like so nice out there because it's so cold in there, and I'm a summer baby, so I love the heat.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am 23. I keep forgetting to say I'm like 23 because I just turned 23 like a month ago, but I'm 23. I'm a Lebanese woman that loves professional wrestling. I've been in the wrestling business since 2018. I do wrestling broadcasting, like interviewing, backstage correspondence, social media correspondence, ringside. I love like doing interviews and stuff like that. So I've been in the business, like I said, since 2018, and I do a bunch of interviews online as well for my channel or maybe for some sites. And yeah, I just love professional wrestling. I've loved it since I was like 6 or 7 years old.
That's awesome. I'm the same way. I mean it's something about the storytelling that just catches you.
Oh, definitely.
So as far as your journey into becoming a broadcaster and an interviewer, how did that begin?
So, like I was saying, like I've been a fan all my life basically. So when I became like a teenager, that's when I got onto Twitter and I found more people like me that enjoyed professional wrestling. And as like I grew up, I I didn't know what I wanted to do once I got into college. And it came to a point where I was debating between teaching and communications because I really liked communications. I'm a very talkative person. I like to talk to people. So I was like, I mean, that could be something I want to do. And at the time, I was doing my own stuff on my own YouTube channel, like making wrestling type of videos. And I reached out to this one website there. I forget what had like been published or whatever, and I just like reached out to them and we were talking and they're like, "Hey, we're looking for an interviewer for our channel. I see you got something going on. Like, maybe we could do a trial interview and see how that goes." So we did the trial interview. They liked what they saw and I joined on with them. And ever since then, I've been, in the business and doing interviews.
So, as far as becoming a professional wrestling fan, do you have a moment or a set of moments that kind of stick out that caught you to make you want to join the business, as they say?
Oh, it was definitely at that time. It was like the Randy Orton versus John Cena feud era, and I like loved that as a kid because, of course, like when you're little, and then John Cena was your like the face of the company. Everybody loves him, so I really liked him and Randy Orton, and that's why like they're like my top favorites. Well, Randy Orton's obviously number one, as everybody knows. But like that was like the top thing for me that really pulled me in and enjoyed it, and at the same time, like I always mention how family is the reason why I started watching wrestling. My uncle, so like it was cool for me to like then bond more with my uncle and my brother at like such a young age, like because we all love wrestling and we'd watch it and then we'd play like Raw 2 together on the Xbox. So like it was really nice moments like that.
Yeah, and they're both very, very talented individuals.
Oh, very talented, and their feud is just oh my gosh, so amazing. Like they did everything like basically almost together, did OVW together, which coming up to WWE together. They just have amazing chemistry together. So I can't wait to see, if they'll eventually collide again. I mean, it's a feud that keeps on going. So hopefully that'll eventually happen again.
Yeah, definitely. So, as far as your interviewing, do you have any favorite interviews that you've done with any wrestling superstars?
I always like to say all of them are my favorite because I love every single one I do. But when I usually pick favorites, when I have to really pick favorites, I always think it's like a recent one because I'm proud of like the most recent work I've done. Not that I don't think the other ones are not good or anything. I'm like, but as I keep going, I keep learning and getting better. But I think my favorite ones at the moment are like some of the newest ones, like with Guttum on my channel, or the one that I did a couple months ago with Will Ospreay, or like even asking Eric Bischoff one question that still meant like a lot to me, because like he was like, these are some big names and I'm getting to ask them questions. Like it's surreal to me, but I think some of those, like any of them were like really great.
Yeah, I saw the one with Eric Bischoff, man. That had to be like in the top echelon of people that you wanted to talk to, especially where he came from and where he ended up.
Oh, definitely. When I like got to talk with him, like I just was like to him, like there was a media scrum and I didn't get to ask him a question I wasn't called upon, and that was fine. But then when he like walked away, like I just like said, hey, like can I ask you at least like, one question? And he was super nice about it, and it was like surreal because like, I go back and watch all those like moments, like the WCW versus WWF moments, and like that's so like insane to me. So I'm like even standing there, I'm like, oh my god, like this guy has done like so much in professional wrestling, for professional wrestling. Like this is like crazy. And then, he's very good on the mic. So I needed to get his thoughts on like, like that kind of process. So hopefully one day I do get to sit down with him fully and ask him more questions, because, oh my God, like that was just so
Yeah,
insane.
I mean, I couldn't imagine what it would be like to meet somebody from the Attitude Era, much less somebody of his magnitude.
It was, oh my gosh, I can't even describe it. I was like so excited, like going into that media scrum, because like I was like, oh my gosh, like, we got Eric Bischoff there, we got Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett, like it was just so insane. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe like I'm in the room with these people. Like I grew up watching Jeff Hardy, and and you go back and watch like the other ones, like, because obviously I didn't grow up with them, I wasn't alive, but like you go back and watch those moments and you're with these like influential people like that, like did so much for the business, and you're just like, wow, like I can't believe I'm here with them. Like it's insane.
Yeah, and they always say don't meet your heroes, but I don't believe in that. I think you should always meet your hero, whether good or bad.
100%. Like, oh my gosh, meeting like so many people in this business like that I even grew up watching, like it's crazy. You're just like, I watched them when I was younger, and like you meet them and it's so crazy. Like Melina, when I met her, like, and like, becoming like acquaintances, friends with her, like it's insane to me, because I just keep remembering like I watched her on TV and all this stuff, and now I'm like, she's so sweet. Like
Yeah,
it's so amazing.
the most successful people, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, but the most successful people in wrestling are pretty much themselves just turned up. And it's great to see people like yourself doing interviews with these people and kind of getting them not so much out of character, but more true to themselves, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's what I love to do. I love interviewing so much because I love talking to people. As I was saying before, I love talking to people. And it's nice, like, getting to know not just their character, but the person behind the character. Like, I like to, also bring that out of them, because it's like, it's fun. It's like good to know, like, little, tad bits about themselves. And as long as they're comfortable and have, and they're having fun, that's, all that matters. So it's so nice to also get to know, them besides their character, and their characters, like seeing how they transform and come up with them. It's, oh my gosh, it's insane. And getting like to, when they are doing like the interviews in character, and then you got to like play along with it and you got to act, and you're just like, ooh, like, oh my God, like this
I
is
can
so
only
much fun.
imagine that's why I started podcasting is, I'm like you, I enjoy talking to people no matter what they do. I think, it's something that a lot of people I think can get into, no matter if you're a wrestling fan, if you're I've done some strongman stuff. I mean, there's nothing like it, and it's almost like a connection, so to speak.
Oh, 100%. And it's like a lot of people like my age when I was growing up, like as a teenager in high school, like not a lot of people, like even girls, don't like wrestling like I did. Like, and not a lot of people in my school did, and I was the one. I think everybody knew me as like the wrestling girl. I was obsessed with it, and I didn't care. I loved it. It made me happy. It still makes me happy, and it was nice, like having social media growing up, just because I found people like me that enjoyed it so much. And I've made so many friends over the years from, being on wrestling Twitter when I was just like a fan. And I'm not saying I'm not still a fan, because I am still a fan. And then meeting them now, being in the business, like with other wrestlers who also, some of them grew up watching it as well. And it's so nice. Like you make all these friends that enjoy the same thing you do. Because like you just didn't, some of us just did not have that with other people in our like real
Yeah,
lives
yeah,
to say.
exactly. And it's one of those things where if it makes you happy, and it turns you into kind of like a younger version of yourself.
Oh, definitely. Like even like still going to like some of the events like that you go to. Like I know when we I was in Dallas for, Mania weekend and like doing all that stuff. It's like it's so exciting. And then going then to Mania with my friends, and still you're like so excited. It brings that like younger side out of you, like, oh my gosh, like you can't believe you're here, like actually here in WrestleMania, and you're here watching the show and watch it. Like it's insane, like those kind of those feelings. But it's like you're so excited and you're
Yeah,
so
and I've
happy.
heard that from a
It's the
lot of
best
people
feeling
that
ever.
no matter what part of the business you're in, whether you're in the indie scene or AEW or anything like that, that WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Oh my gosh, it really is. And like that whole weekend, it's crazy. I would say this WrestleMania was the actual one I experienced working a lot. I was like jumping from place to place to place, and it's crazy, but at the same time, it's so much fun. Like I ran around everywhere, and I remember thinking like when I was setting up my schedule, I was like, how am I gonna do all this? How am I gonna get from here to here to here and do like everything that I need? But I did it, and it was so much fun doing it, because then you get to meet, you see some of your friends like old and new, and you see the wrestlers, some that you know, some that you don't, and you get to do interviews, and it was such a fun weekend. Like it's like everywhere you went there were fans and there were people. It was just so much fun, like a great atmosphere. And it's just like, oh my god, I can't, that was like the best weekend, even though it was like
Yeah, and I
so
would
busy. It
imagine
was
it's a
so much
different
fun.
kind of busy, more so, if you're doing just normal work, it can be kind of tiring. But doing something like that, I would imagine it's in some way energizes you and just keeps you going.
Mhm. Oh my gosh, I was like, oh my god. The one day I did not get to my room, like I was there in the morning. I left I think 8:30. I did not come back to my room until, oh my god, I don't even remember what time. Like 9, 10, or no, it was like later at night, because I forgot the ROH show was that night. I didn't get back to my room until like maybe midnight that night. Like even as soon as I got off the plane, I got off the plane and I went to the hotel, and I quickly had to change and everything, and I ran to MLW for a media scrum. Like it's like even then, like it was like as soon as you got there, you had to get going, because there was so much going on and everything's like packed in together. It's insane. But I don't know how I got through it. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be so tired each of the days. But you get up and you do it, and it's like it's just so much fun though. Oh my god, it's like it's a crazy experience, but
Yeah,
it's
I've
so
heard
much
that
fun. Like you just have
the
so
whole
much fun doing
WrestleMania
it.
thing is something that if you're a huge wrestling fan, you should experience at least once in your life, just because it's such a large event.
Oh my god, I highly recommend. anybody to go and like experience WrestleMania weekend. It is fun. I mean, I never thought I would, be like doing something like this, and I never thought I'd experience a WrestleMania. So, oh my gosh, it's like being in that atmosphere. It's nothing like it. Like, I definitely recommend every single wrestling fan go in
And see,
like,
I'm like you. I'm a huge wrestling
like
fan. I've watched wrestling since, of course, I hate to say it, quite a bit older, but I remember watching Sting and Flair in the '80s. It's one of those things where, just for me personally, when I was younger, that's who grabbed me was Sting, and that's what makes me want to do podcasting, so I can talk to people that are in that line of work and just get different perspectives on everything. Because even though it's a collective as far as the type of business that you do, everybody has their own different mindset as well.
Yeah, there's like definitely, people come from different parts of the world and have different experiences, and it's cool, but it's cool to come together in that, like, especially that time frame, because so many people come from around the world for this, and it's just so insane being together in just like one place, and it's oh my god, it's so exciting. It really is. Like that feeling being in that stadium with all those fans, like oh my god, I can't even explain it. That feeling is just
So as far
it's just
as
so exciting.
some of the events that you've been to, other than like WrestleMania, have you done anything of anything close to that magnitude?
Oh, I don't know. Like but I've done like AEW media scrums and gone to Revolution. I wouldn't know what is kind of considered my biggest thing I've done. I don't know if like you would just say like my biggest interviews, which I consider that to be like Will Ospreay and Eric Bischoff. But I think like the biggest thing technically for my career, besides like all the media stuff, like doing with like the sites, I think it was like going down to Florida. I went a couple months ago where they flew me out to go for their first inaugural show. I mean, the inaugural show for BRCW. That was like really cool. And I got to do like a bunch of pre-rolls for their show. I last minute ring announced a match for their pre-show, and I did like a bunch of backstage stuff. So I think that was one of the biggest things, because that was actually my first kind of booking like out of like the Northeast, and that was super cool. So maybe it's that, and I hope to like obviously do
Yeah,
more
and I
bookings.
can
Like I
only
really had a lot of fun
imagine,
like traveling and
kind
going to
of
do stuff like
the
that.
adrenaline rush that you would get, even if it were just doing, small indie type stuff. I mean, it's got to be an adrenaline rush. I would imagine.
Oh my gosh, 100%. Like doing my home promotions of Camp Leapfrog and High Tension Wrestling, like even being there, like you're with, because I know all those people, because I've worked with them so many times, and like even being with them and getting to cut interviews with them, like again, or like doing something in an in-ring segment, like I'm like I went in the ring for like the first time for an in-ring interview like a couple months ago with them, and I just kept I was like to myself, okay, like gotta watch getting in the ring, like make sure you're like facing the camera and like everything. But I was like so nervous. Was I gonna trip down the stairs, trip up the stairs? I wasn't nervous to ask the question. I was just more nervous that I was gonna trip getting in and out of the ring. But it was still
Yeah,
like once
and
I got up to the steps when it was time to do everything, it's like all that nervousness that you had just vanishes. Like I felt that same way when I had to, yeah, last minute ring announce this match. Like I've never ring announced before. I really want to like continue to learn and do something like that. And I remember like when they asked me to, I was like, I'm just gonna, let's do it. Like I can do this. And I was so nervous. And like as soon as you just get to the stairs and you're climbing up, it's like, why was I like, what am I nervous for? And you get like really excited and you see the crowd, like, and it's so exciting. I feel like I say that word a lot, but
Yeah,
it is like it's very
so
exciting
something
and
I've been asked,
it's just
or I've
insane.
asked a bunch of the wrestlers that I've talked to is, you know, as far as the indie scene goes, with the introduction of AEW a few years ago, how do you think that? Do you think that has exploded in a good way? So as far as
What
in
the?
the
I'm sorry, you were
indie
cutting out.
scene,
What has
since
exploded?
the arrival of AEW, I've talked to a lot of people that say that the indie scene's kind of erupted, and you're getting, I guess, cross pollination of talent from all over the place showing up in AEW.
I think it's been a great idea because they bring them to dark, and some of them eventually get signed. We've seen like a lot of that happen, and I think it's a cool thing because it shows off like, hey, like look at your like local independents in the area, and you should go check them out. Like it's exciting to see, especially like my friends as well that I've seen go on to dark. And hearing them get in their like cheers from their hometown because they know who they are, and like it's very exciting to see, and then they're getting more like eyes on them because they really do deserve it. Like, oh my gosh, I like some of my friends that I've seen on there, like Cheeseburger, Ryan Mooney, Barrett Brown, like seeing them on there, it's like insane because these people and you're just like so happy for them that they have a platform, and then more people like recognize them, want to come out to the show to see more of the indie scene, and then they get involved with the indie scene. And oh my god, there's just so much in the independence going on with every single promotion. Like it's insane. It's so good though, and I get really excited because there's so many great talent like in the independence, and I just like people need to like look more into that because
Yeah,
they're
I
killing it. They really are like putting on all these shows. It's really exciting. And then you see some of these AEW stars there. They like
yeah, and I
they're
know
there too.
that
Like they come and like
when
it's awesome.
AEW first appeared on on TV, especially with all the hype that they did, even before they got the TV contract, it's you just kind of knew that it was going to be that old school feel, but they were going to be one of the big four companies for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And they've done such a great job. I know I really enjoy going to their shows and being like with that crowd. Like I remember my first live show of AEW was Revolution this past March. And oh my god, that the feel of that crowd and being in that like that energy was so much fun. I really enjoyed like being at their shows. So hopefully I'll be again soon. And I went to, their ROH event when they were in Dallas, and that was really good too. Like it's very exciting. They've done such a good
Yeah, I
job, and
think
I'm
the
sure they're going to
possibilities
only
are
go up
endless
from
for
here.
Tony Khan, especially just because he in not so many terms, he kind of reminds me of like a very young Vince McMahon in the fact of the way he's doing things.
Yeah, you can tell he's passionate about wrestling. He seems to very much enjoy his job, and that's a good thing. And that you want somebody like that. It seems like he's happy, and that's great. And like he's doing a great job. I mean, that's in like he got ROH now. We had like this whole Forbidden Door thing with New Japan. Like the like possibilities are endless. Honestly, it's very exciting to see like all these forbidden doors like open up. It's so much fun, and they
Yeah,
put a
I think
great show
it's
on with
great to
New
see
Japan.
them
I hope it happens
collaborating with
again because that was awesome.
places like you said, New Japan, where they purchased Ring of Honor, and then they're bringing not so much unknown people, but unknown to their audience. Whether it be on AEW Dark or you know having them on their primetime shows for sure. I think that says a lot. Yeah. So as far as your Mount Rushmore, who would that be? And it can be two different ones as far as announcers and then wrestlers as well.
Okay, so wrestlers, I always say Randy Orton's number one. Grew up watching him. He's been my favorite of all time. So it's like it's common like, oh, I'm gonna say him. Everybody just knows it. Another one would be Triple H because I also like grew up then watching him, and he's done so much over like the past like couple decades now. So and I think he's great. And to like let's add some women into this one. So AJ Lee because I also then really liked her style when she was in WWE, and another woman I think would be like Michelle McCool because I also liked her growing up. So I think that's for my wrestling. I know they're like they don't go too far back, but they're it's like what I like. And for like announcers, definitely Renee Young. I look up to her so much in what she did. Like she just like killed it in every single thing she did, and I really look up to her. Alicia Atout because she kills the interview game. I'm very proud of her. She continues to do so well, and now she's taken a manager role in MLW, so I'm really happy for her. Oh my gosh, there's like so many people coming to your mind. Kathy Kelly. Oh my god, Kathy Kelly did such a great job. Oh my god, I loved like her relationship with the people in NXT, and it was just like it was so funny. I was so upset when she left, but like I hope she's doing good now. Hopefully, she eventually comes back. And oh my god, who's another person? I think Justin Roberts because he announces like so well, but then I think of Michael Cole too. He's been around for so many years, and oh my god, there's so many people like you think of because like they've done so much, and especially like over the years and how they like have their style. Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's definitely hard like to pick and choose people because you just like everybody and what they do.
Yeah, it's kind of a loaded question for sure.
This one always stumps me. I think I got it asked before, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who do I choose? Like, and I'm like such an indecisive person sometimes. So I'm like, oh my gosh, do I choose this person? Do I choose that person?
Yeah. So as far as your YouTube channel and social media, can you tell me a little bit about that?
So my YouTube is like I'm coming back onto that since I'm doing my own thing, and that's where I'm gonna continue to post vlogs. Like it seems like everybody enjoys my content when I go out and do stuff, and then I show everybody, hey, like what I did in Dallas and like the shows that I did and what I was doing and with my friends. It seems like everybody loves when I do that kind of behind the scenes thing, and I love like doing that kind of stuff, and then like bring in like my interviews as like we're gonna revamp them up a little bit. Same content, but we're gonna do like some new stuff. So I'm hoping to do more with the channel, especially now, and kind of like focus on that. And my social media is, I love to like then talk about wrestling on Twitter, interact with, some of my viewers or the wrestlers, like, just have a good time. Because Twitter is like a fun place, and Instagram, you get to share your stories when you don't always like post it all the time. And, it's just nice. It's good. It's just the best way to connect with other wrestling fans or wrestlers. And, it also helps you. It's a good outlet to get bookings or reach out to wrestlers for interviews, like stuff like that. So it's nice. It's like a little community. So it's really cool. But I enjoy like being on social media so I can interact with other fans and wrestlers, viewers. Like it's such a good time. So I'm like glad, but there is some negatives to social media, but for the most part, I usually
Definitely. So, what is the name of your YouTube channel?
So the name of my YouTube channel is literally it's Samira. When I say that, people think it's just like Samira, and I'm like, no, like it's Samira. I always have to like kind of clarify it that way. I don't know why I made it that way. Just like I was like, oh, that's how I should brand myself. So I just did.
And
it
then
that way.
on, I know I found you on Instagram, and you mentioned that you're on TikTok. What
Yep, I'm on
very cool.
Twitter,
And
TikTok,
is it
and
under
Instagram.
at the It's Samira?
Yep, it's the same on
Very
all
cool.
social
Well,
media
it's been a
platforms.
pleasure talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I know I probably tended to ramble quite a lot of it.
It
That's
was a
just me.
lot of
I'm
fun, and
sorry,
I hope to
but
do it
I hope it
again.
was
And
fun.
hopefully one day I can return the favor. Definitely. Well, I
Thank you
definitely
so much for
appreciate it,
having me.
and I wish you the best of luck. It seems like you're doing really well, and sky's the limit. You're welcome, and I hope you have a great rest
Thank
of
you
the
so
afternoon,
much.
and hopefully we can do it again. You too.
Definitely. Thank you again. Have a good night.